It is time to expand minds through movies, TV, sports, and flicks. It is time to boldly go where no podcast has gone before. It is time for the Captain Talks Flicks.
The Captain Talk Flicks.
Welcome to the Captain Talks Flicks podcast. I'm your host, the Captain Cortez, aka Mr. Love, and this is where we talk flicks. I welcome the podcast where me, the Captain, talks about movies, TV, sports, flicks, anything you could see on a tuber screen. I like to get on here and give my unique perspective, because after 47 years of being on planet Earth, I have developed a unique perspective about these movies, TV, sports, and flicks, and let's hear and tell about it. Because just maybe you care. And according to the stats, it looks like you do care. I want to give a big shout out to Iraq. Got some players over in Iraq this past week. Gracias, gratitude, told her about in Iraq. I heard you guys love drinking black tea. Well, guess what? I love black tea too. So I think I would have a great time in Iraq. I'll go over there, chill, hang out, have some black tea with the locals. Maybe meet a fly Iraqi lady. Be very cool. So thanks for listening. Gracias, gratitude. And just FYI, back in the day was school to be a radio DJ, but never got a job. I think I never got a job because I just didn't have the belief. If I would have believed, maybe that would enable me to become a radio DJ, but it didn't. And that allowed me to become the greatest podcaster in the Matrix. Something to debate, might be true, might not be true, but I said it on the internet, so it's gotta be true, right? Because everything on the internet is facts, not facts, true, false, propaganda, fake news, the Matrix, G.I. Joe, Transformers, Star Trek, Star Wars, Doctor Who. I don't know. I didn't make the internet. Ask the people that made the internet. So when you're online, just be aware, just punch out. Anyways, I could ramble you all day, but I won't. Let's get right to the podcast. But first, a word from our sponsor. Ladies and gentlemen, the future is coming. It's on the way, bro. The future is coming. Now, do you want to just let the future happen to you, or do you want to mold and shape your future? Well, experts say one way to shape your future is you can create it, and you can create it by writing your future down. So take a pen and write down what you want your life to be, and experts say that if you do that, it'll make it more likely that this future will happen. So if you believe that, like I believe that, we have a pen for you over at Existing Fictions as a store that says create your future. So you can take the pen and create your future. Yeah, so if you're interested in that, I'll put the link below. Now, let's get on with the podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, I am back again. And I only got 4.5 hours of sleep. I must be crazy. Like, Captain, why I only get 4.5 hours of sleep? Because sometimes work's gotta get done. And then sometimes we're trying to get the work done, sleep doesn't happen. It happens sometimes. On the path to greatness, sometimes there'll be days like that. And so since I'm chasing greatness daily, I had to get a little bit less sleep. I'll tell you what, ladies and gentlemen, I'm feeling it right now, slightly. But it is not going to stop me from bringing you a magnificent podcast. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, here I am to do this one more time. Let's do it once again, uno más. Yeah, life was beautiful. Just had some food, had some grilled cheese sandwiches. Pepper jack cheese. They're so good. It's just such a simple pleasure of life of eating a grilled cheese sandwich with pepper jack cheese. A little bit of wheat bread too. It was so delicious. I appreciate the small things. So now that I'm a 47-year-old dude, I just appreciate small things. Like way more than I used to. Nice cup of coffee, nice cup of tea, a nice warm grilled cheese sandwich that I made myself, by the way. I didn't buy it. I made my own grilled cheese sandwich, and I'm getting quite good at making grilled cheese sandwiches. The grilled cheese sandwich I made today was pretty good, if I might say so myself. One of these days, I'm gonna have to make one for you, and you'll be like, Captain, you do make a fine grilled cheese sandwich. But thank you very much. I did put a lot of work into that. So anyways, thanks for joining me. I appreciate that. And ladies and gentlemen, now it is time to podcast. Yeah, and this week I may tell you some lies that are true, because we may go down the espionage rabbit hole, the great game, Spy vs. Spy, the wilderness of mirrors. Because ladies and gentlemen, this week I'm going to talk about true lies, lying truths. The first couple things. There will be spoilers, and I do own some shares in the parent company of Paramount Plus. I just want to be clear and transparent to let you know. So now that I told you that, let's get into true lies, lying truths. So ladies and gentlemen, 2 more episodes and True Lies is a wrap. That's it. It's all we got left, and the series is done. I am very disappointed by that because I love the show. The show is absolutely fantastic. I'm enjoying the ride. I got this episode and another one after this, and it's done. It's a wrap. It's finito. It's over. Let's just enjoy it while we got it. So anyways, this week's episode had a few interesting observations. So let me start with this. First of all, I did notice in this week's episode that they used the word gank. So as soon as I heard him use the word gank, I was like, people still use that word? Because I remember the word from like the 80s, bro. Like, I'm old. I was born in 76. I remember the word from the 80s. Gank. I ain't never got gank like that. Gank, right? I still remember that. And then so when they said it in today's episode, I'm like, people still use that word? Because back in the day, when I became aware of the word gank, it was a slang terminology. It was slang word, bro. And generally, a lot of times, from my experience in studying my father's and mother's generation and the generation before that, that slang kind of disappears. At least it used to. It seems nowadays, a lot of the slang from back in the day seems to stick around. Simp comes to mind. They were saying simp a long time ago, and they're still saying simp. They were saying gank a long time ago, and they're still saying gank. It's just crazy how some of the words to my time are sticking around. Sorry, Dad. Sorry, Grandpa. Sorry, Grandma. Sorry, Mom. But your words didn't stand the test of time. My generation, the Captain generation, our words are sticking around because we are the best generation of all time. Maybe my parents might disagree with me, and my grandparents might disagree with me. You may disagree with me because you may be younger. Who knows? It doesn't matter. This is not a contest. Let's not worry about that. But let's worry about this. It's interesting that people are still saying gank. And one additional thing, the way they use gank is slightly different. So the word gank used in the episode was used in like a computer hacker programming world. When I was coming up, it was in gangster rap. So slightly different, same words, slightly modified definition, but the word still exists. And I thought that was very interesting because when I turned on True Lies, Lying Truths, I'll tell you what I wasn't expecting. I wasn't expecting to hear the word gank. I wasn't. I was very pleasantly surprised. So very cool. The word gank still exists. Fantastic, awesome, courtesy of the greatest generation of all time. Mine. Just joking, guys. You guys are great too. So anyways, enough about gank. Now to another observation. Also in the same episode, they talk about this character they're trying to get a hold of who has an interesting name. It's like, yeah, we gotta get a hold of this guy. What's the guy's name? The guy's name is 8-Ball. As soon as I heard that, I started cracking up too. Because back in the day, I'm talking a long time, I'm talking like 30 years ago, like way back in the day when I was very young, there was tons of people named 8-Ball. I couldn't even count how many people named 8-Ball existed in my little community. Like, I swear there's a bunch of people with that same name. Like, and then when I looked it up on the internet, it wasn't just where I lived, it was everywhere. Like, apparently back in the day, all over the United States, maybe globally, there was tons of people with a nickname, with the name 8-Ball. It was absolutely craziness. Like, I don't know if they still go by that today. I suspect with these new names these young people are using now, they're probably not using such antiquated terminology. I would think, oh, we need a more sophisticated name. We're not those old Gen X guys. We're sophisticated. We use more sophisticated nicknames. Like Little, probably Little in front of it. Maybe they go by Little 8-Ball. It seems like a lot of the younger generation, no disrespect, it's not meant as disrespect. I'm just saying that a lot of the younger guys, when I look at these nicknames, they got Little in front of it, right? I mean, it's kind of like little this, little that, little this. Got a lot of littles. So maybe there's like some little 8-Balls out there. I don't know. I thought it was cool. They're using a name that I heard way back in the day. And one additional thing, like I said with the word gank, it is interesting how language way back in the day, words, language way back in the day, going 30 years back, are still floating around today. It was on the TV show on a major network. right? In prime time, right? I mean, this word from way back in the day, people are still using it. Real quick, we talk about language. It seems like a lot of language has kind of disappeared. Every time I think that, words from the past keep coming back. So I don't know. Like I said earlier, I think it's just because our generation was so awesome. I'm saying we were very cool. We brought you Atari. We brought you hip hop, bro. We brought you the internet, courtesy of us. You're very welcome. Yeah, so that was one other thing I want to talk about in True Lies. Now, the last thing I want to get into about True Lies, which has kind of been a running theme of all these shows I've been watching over the last few months, as in this episode of True Lies, somebody stole a computer containing Omega's information about their field officers. Right? All this information about their field officers is in this computer, and some shady folks want to get a hold of that so they can use it to their advantage, I'm assuming. Because a lot of the field officers' information is not public and not well known for the safety of the field officers. And if someone's able to get a hold of the information, they can use it in a negative fashion, right? Now, you think it's just spying, and you think it just has to do with the spy world, and it's just the Omega world, the spy world, the True Lies world. But like I've been saying on these podcasts the last few weeks, like with Rabbit Hole and these other shows, whatever, I've been saying quite a bit on this podcast, information is absolutely everywhere. We're putting information all over the place. I just did it today multiple times, putting information about myself. Things I do, things I like, things I say, things I read, things I watch. You're all in my mind, all in my psyche. You know what I buy, you know what I do, right? I'm not the only one. We're all doing that, right? All the information's all over the place, right? Everywhere. People can find that and use that to sell you stuff. Use it to catfish you or use it to whatever. Use it to their advantage, to your disadvantage. I've been saying this forever, right? So maybe we should be like Omega in True Lies and maybe keep some of that data information to ourselves. And maybe don't broadcast everything. Maybe don't tell all your business. Maybe don't put all your business on the internet. Don't put all your business on Twitter, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, anything else that comes up in the future, metaverse, whatever, AI, I don't know. Maybe just don't put it all out there. Maybe keep something to yourself. I said this previously. Maybe in the next few years, the next decades to come, the real treasure, the real wealth, the real asset is privacy. How private can you be? In a society with so much information flowing everywhere, and data, information, and all this, privacy is the asset. How private are you? How private can you be? How private can you be? Right? Ones with the most privacy have the most abundance. Maybe. I just make that up? I don't know. I'm just thinking about things. But the thing is, it's like tattoos. No disrespect to tattoos if you have tattoos. Back in the day, a select few had tattoos. When I was coming up, not a lot of people with tattoos. And there was only a select few people with tattoos. And you saw all those the cool people. They got the tattoos, right? But now with tattoos, everybody got them. Everybody. Like, just like everybody got them. And I'm not disrespecting tattoos. I'm not spitting on tattoos. I'm no disrespect. Tattoos are cool. There are a lot of fine tattoos. But it's just like with anything else, when there's less, and it's more scarce, it's more valuable. And when there's more of it, it's not as valuable, right? So in a world where information is everywhere and it's all over the place, it's less valuable. But if it's scarcer, information about you is scarcer, you become a more valuable individual? Is that possible? I don't know. I don't know anything about finances or wealth or value, really. I just make things up on here. But maybe it's possible in the future, where information's everywhere, everyone puts their information out, and it's all over the place, the value of them decreases. But you, sir, you, ma'am, who are not as out there with your information and more of private, maybe you will gain more value. Maybe the value of the future is less information, not more. So maybe, before you make that next post on the internet, so take a lesson from True Lies and keep your information guarded and secret. Just a little bit, not all. We don't want to be crazy. You don't want to be too crazy. You don't want to be crazy with it. But maybe don't tell as much. A little more security, a little more privacy. I don't know. Just theorizing, just making things up. Who knows? But just some thoughts as we close in on the end of True Lies, which is a fine spy TV show. Because this show just had me think about all those things. I watched that show, took like 5-10 minutes to start thinking about things, And that's what came out. This is what this podcast is all about. This podcast is about expanding minds through movies, TV, sports, and flicks. And so as we watch TV, movies, sports, and flicks, and we see ideas that were written by writers and acted by actors, and see these different scenarios and people and emotions and thoughts and whatever out there, and we just use these things to expand our mind just a little bit more, just a little bit smarter, a little bit wiser, a little more worldly, more knowledgeable, learn just a little bit more so we can grow just a little bit better, slightly better, little by little. And as we go forward in this journey, we'll just be a little bit stronger, a little bit smarter, a little bit better. Maybe it's all a dream. It's to read Word Up magazine. No, who knows? But anyways, thanks for joining me. That's all I want to talk about this week. And until next time, we'll see. If you're bored with life, you don't get up every morning with a burning desire to do things, you don't have enough goals. Lou Holtz. Until next time, it's Captain Peace.
The Captain Talks Flicks.